You did speak about this newfound confidence, and the obvious flashpoint culturally is a religious flashpoint in India today. And it's come up in all sorts of conversations, whether it is laws, whether it is, in your hometown of Kashi, whether it's a shivling or not. And I, saw several of your interviews, your conversations. I read your article in DNA, which you'd written, several years ago. You spoke about that, the perceived or real humiliations that, Hindus have suffered from Muslim invaders. And I say perceived and real because I think it's a combination of both. That the need for the calm to return would be if there is something equivalent to a peace and reconciliation, committee or commission that, Nelson Mandela, or even in Rwanda.
Certainly not committee.
A commission that, or even
a
in
committee
Rwanda.
is where subjects go to die.
or a committee is, what is it? A giraffe is a horse designed by a committee.
Horse designed by a committee.
so a commission, or like in Rwanda, they had, a fantastic kind of...
Truth and dare. Between the Tutsis and the Hutus.
And Hutus. Now, you think that is a fair comparison of something that happened in like the lifetime that I know the person who attacked my family and something that happened centuries ago? You think that's fair, or you think that actually would even... You think it has the potential of making things worse from the point of view of I will be even more angry for something that happened like centuries ago?
No, good question. Societies are essentially collections of individuals. What you see at an individual level, you see aggregating at a society level as well. There are many individuals who suffer trauma, for example, during childhood. And sadly more common than it should be. There are two ways of handling it, or rather, two ways that you normally see people handling it. That one is denial. Mere saath to kuch hua hi nahi. Just deny it completely. One is unfocused hatred. Hate everyone who may have been of the person who may have abused me, of the same gender or same community or whatever. You don't need to be a psychologist to know that both the strategies aren't good, right? The best thing is to actually speak the truth and then move on, right? What happens at individual levels, you find happens at societal levels as well. I think one of the biggest mistakes our establishment historians made is calling the Turkic colonial rule the Islamic rule. You don't call the British colonial rule the Christian rule. So why do you call the Turkic colonial rule the Islamic rule? Bollywood movies have added to the confusion. People think Akbar looked like Prithviraj Kapoor and Alauddin Khilji looked like Ranveer Singh, and they spoke Urdu. Of course, they didn't speak Urdu. Urdu is our language. They spoke Turkic. We won't understand anything of what they were saying. They certainly won't look Indian, right? They were from Central Asia. The Turks are originally from Central Asia.
Although what is an Indian look is also, I think
but, they would have, the British didn't look, can there be some Indians who look British? Yes, but the British didn't look Indian.
They were not, correct.
From that same perspective. Pasmanda Muslims were as oppressed under the Turkic colonial rule as Indian Hindus were. Right? Much of the Mughal period, Pasmanda Muslims weren't allowed into Agra. Pasmanda Muslims are essentially Indian converts, descendants of Jains, Buddhists and Hindus. Many of the invaders who came here went to other countries as well. The Turks destroyed much of India, they destroyed much of the Arab world as well. Right? And you'll notice that if you travel through the Arab world, there's a lot of unfocused hatred towards the Turks. And then the Europeans. Is that helping them? No. Right? Because there's a lot of unfocused anger in their society. India is the denial strategy. Is that helping us? No. Because it's coming out in various different ways.
And the anger is also there.
Because of denialism, no. If denialism, as any psychologist will tell you, leads to anger somewhere else. Whereas unfocused hatred also leads to problems. Neither of these strategies are good strategies, actually. Even in the West, the crimes of slavery, the crimes of these things are being discussed.
Yeah.
Regrettably, in my view, I think in the West, it's being done with a lot of anger, which is not good. I find out there, and I'm not white, but I see no reason to hate all whites today for what British Raj may have done in India. Why should I do that? They haven't done anything, right? I would see no reason to hate the descendants of Winston Churchill. Why should I do that? He hasn't done anything. And I've met some descendants of Winston. Some of them are journalists, etc. They're nice people, right? But that doesn't mean I'm going to say Winston Churchill was a great guy. Why should I? I'll speak the truth about him. So in my view, the best way is to actually speak the truth. Give up the denialism or unfocused anger. Both what the Arab world and India are doing, the two different strategies. Neither of these strategies are good strategies. Speak the truth and then move on.